Hey everybody, a little bit cooler this morning. It was 50 degrees out this morning. We watered the garden. We're doing that every morning now. And then Melanie thinks these are the what do you call it, sugar snap peas, the ones you can eat right off the pod. So we're going to try them this morning because our harvest was destroyed so badly by critters, and we ended up just planting. We lost track of what was what. But I think these are the sugar snap, and there's a bunch of them ready. She's excited for stir frying. So we're going to harvest some of them. Mung beans are just starting to flower out now, and we're still getting some weeds out of there. But you'll notice there's not many weeds in the garden bed. Just around the mung beans up front here, for some reason, there was a bunch. But there's hardly any weeds due to the mulch we put down. Really good. Tomatoes are starting to produce, so there's actually a lot of tomatoes growing, but there's nothing red yet. It'll be some time. That's why we're watering every day now, to help boost the crop. Now over here, I gotta go get my rake. Melanie's using the can and watering some of the far remote plants. While I'm finishing up, I was watering the rest of the garden overall. And then I'm going to rake this out, and we're going to plant our seedlings today. Well, now we have a raised bed for planting. It's about 4 inches thick. It's hard to see because the mulch, and after I've leveled it out, because it's sort of tapered off on the ends, but it's about 4 or 5 inches thick in places. So that'll provide a very good raised growing area for our seedlings that we have. And we're going to put in the buckwheat and the corn. I'd have no real hope for the corn, but maybe I'll put a greenhouse over it later on to extend the season and see what happens. And we'll just see. If I fertilize it heavily, we'll see what'll happen with it all. Well guys, I am exhausted. I don't know what time it is. I didn't get the video live this morning because I was out here with Melanie working. I extended the garden hose. I found 2 more garden hoses in the garage, and the chipmunks had been chewing on them, so they leak a little. I can fix that, but I've got 2 of these white hoses, so I'm able to go to the back end of this garden. Melanie and I planted our corn. It probably won't make it in time, but just to be safe, well, I left my drink. We had our breakfast smoothies out here in the garden. I might put a hoop over this, a hoop house, in the fall if the corn needs it. But this is very rich and fertile soil here, and I'll spread fertilizer in a month and see what happens. See if it has a chance to grow. We planted our corn, and we've got some turnips and radishes that we had sprouted up front. There's a bare spot here we can still plant. We have sunflowers along the edge. I planted them a little bit densely because I don't think they're going to make it in time. But, you know, we sprouted them, so hey, put them in. And here's the buckwheat. I thought I had a lot more buckwheat than that, but that's it. I'm going to till, now that I've studied buckwheat and its health advantages, the health benefits of buckwheat and how much it produces. I'm going to till a strip here and put in another planting because they only need 10 to 12 weeks and they actually start bearing fruit and having seed right away. But to full harvest, it's 10 to 12 weeks. And see, we already have seed heads forming. We have flowers starting and seed heads forming. So as they grow, they're going to continue to sprout and throw off seed heads. So we'll continue harvesting the seeds as they develop during the entire growing season, which, as I said, is very short. So we can stagger these. I'm gonna till a row here, and we'll have our own bread flour and cereal grains this year. So I figure if I put a strip in here, I've got to get more mulch before I do it, though. Otherwise we can't keep the weeds out. The mulch makes all the difference in the world. And thanks to Bert, you'll notice that the pathway is lower than the raised bed planting areas. And that was a suggestion from Bert. So thank you. We'll see how it goes. He says that that'll retain moisture down by the roots where it's necessary. And you don't need the soil there, so hey, whatever. And then Melanie put in, I don't know what she put in. Oh, she has some more Asian beans that she planted here. So it's quite a mix. And then we planted the rest of our onions finally. So then I watered the entire bed. So we've got another spot I can put in some carrots and radishes and turnips and rutabagas, some root vegetables over here. And since this will be kept relatively moist every day, I'm going to water this area twice a day to establish the plants. Then we can definitely sprout seeds here too. Wild sunflowers that grew from seed in the dirt, and they're doing better than anything else that we tried to plant, which is insane. But hey, we'll have food from that too. We've got some pretty wildflowers that I'm not going to cut down. It's the only place in the whole entire property where we have these beautiful wildflowers, and I like them. So I'm going to leave them right there on the edge of the garden. It's like a deer fly sucking on it. The potatoes are done flowering. I don't know what that means exactly, but I'm going to look that up. It looks like they're pretty much slowing down. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know if there's any point in some of the littler plants are still going to grow, so maybe I should still keep an eye on them. Some of the bigger ones are done flowering, so I don't know if I should still heap some soil up on them or not, or what's going to happen. Love the chicken manure. They're flowering and bushing out heavily, really heavily. So I'm happy with that. Some of the here, there's a Thai dragon, one of my super hot chilies, with a lot of flowers blooming. And we've got one over here that's really bushing out. For some reason, he's bigger than the others. I don't know exactly why, but I'm pleased. And then these were ones we planted later. But the chilies are a darker green, and they're really thickening up since I put the manure in there. So definitely a successful experiment. You can see in there, we're going to have zucchini starting to be ready for the table in a few days. We're watering these heavily in the mornings as well, every morning. And the zucchini is going to be ready. So we'll be starting to eat off that. And then over here, our wild thing looks like it might be a pumpkin. It's some kind of a big round thing. And that sure is healthy. That's going right in the compost. Right in the compost heap. So that's healthy. Something dug out our chicken guts, which was really deep. It stinks. And they ate it. But whatever. Oh, the peas. We're probably going to harvest these today. Let me come around. I think these are the sugar snap peas, because they're the thinner pods. And they're getting really thick in here. So the peas are looking really good. And we're going to sprout some more and keep a continuous cycle of peas going until the frost. Because peas don't live very long. So At least not in Pine Bush they didn't. I don't know. I thought I remembered in New York we had a huge, amazing garden in when I lived in New York City, and the place hadn't been touched in 35 years. And a friend and I, my roommate and I back then, we broke up. We used a sickle. What do you call it? One of those hand swinging grass cutter blades, and I cut down the entire backyard. It was 4 times the size of our garden here, and I cleared it all by hand, and half of it we planted with food and vegetables, and the stuff grew. The peas were 6 foot tall, the tomatoes were 7-8 foot tall. It was incredible. Unfortunately, people were stealing from us over there, but wow, it was huge. Anyway, so in Pine Bush though, my peas didn't grow very long. They died off quickly. That could have been lack of water because we had a drought. So we'll see how it goes here. They're happily eating and absorbing some sun. The older meat birds are about 2 weeks from being harvested, and we're not going to wait as long on them. They have a lot of wounds on them. We have to keep them separated now because the bigger birds started to pick on them and hurt them. I don't know if you can see the wounds in them. Like it's pretty ugly. So we have to keep them separated now. And then the little meat birds, which I realize my fence is upside down. I'm going to turn that fence around, and the little meat birds from now on are going to be outside with the big meat birds starting tomorrow every day. And over here are the larger normal birds, and they're going to have to be split up into 2 chicken tractors in the future because they're way too big for this now. I mean, they're comfortable, they're okay, and they're loving it, but in order to not have to move them all the time, right now I have to move them twice a day, which is too much work. So we got to get another chicken tractor that big, and then they'll be fine. The chick brooder, the little babies, we lost 4. We ended up with 16, so we ended up with a freebie. We lost 4 because we had some 40-degree nights there, and it was just too miserably cold for the little babies, and we lost the 4 of them. But I added more light bulbs out here, and now they're doing fine. Even now, when the other birds are enjoying the outdoors, these are too small to, you can see they're staying by the lights. They're really slow growers. That's the buff Orpingtons, and they're very, very fragile babies, I've noticed. But they're good general purpose birds from my understanding and from our experience last year. So hopefully we'll bring them through. These don't go outside at all yet. They just can't handle it. Well guys, it's 22:11 and it's 83 out, 50% humidity. That's why it feels hotter than it is. It's the humidity is up today, a little bit higher. But it's still relatively cool inside. Still humid, so we gotta fix that. Hey guys, Melanie and I are in Alpena, Michigan, on the Great Lakes shoreline. You can see nothing for miles and miles and miles out here. The Great Lakes, Melanie says it looks just like an ocean. Hold on, Melanie. She says it looks just like the ocean because of the waves splashing up. And it does. It does look like the ocean. You can see the water is higher this year. All the trees and vegetation is underwater. So the water must be coming up. Unless somebody lives here and can correct me. Because I've been in New York for a while. I'm just finally back to the Great Lakes state. But sure is beautiful and clean. Crystal clear water. Melanie! When Melanie says it's hot, you know it's hot. Right? When you say it's hot, do you know it's really hot?
It's really hot.
The sun is intense here. So we're in Alpena for administrative purposes, and figured we'd stop along the beach and have a look. See, there's all the vegetation underwater. So it looks to me like the water line has come up a lot, but I could be wrong. The trees don't generally grow in the water. And when I had left Michigan years ago, many years ago, they were draining the water out of the Great Lakes, and it was really drying up. And back home by my parents now, it's already come back up a lot compared to how it was years ago. So something's changing out here. Anyway, we found a little spot of driftwood and went back to the car to get some bags. And we'll gather up some driftwood for crafting and artwork. And I figured I'll do some laser burning on some driftwood and see how that works out. There's some cute little images and stuff. Melanie and I are always looking for something to make and create. So, alright, we'll talk to you guys later. Just leaving, and I remembered my camera because it's in my pocket, jamming me. We stopped at Thunder Bay River and spontaneously went fishing. And it's funny, those who mock me on my survival channel for having fishing poles with me at all times, they call it not survival, but hey, we just stopped and spontaneously got a beautiful perch, which we're going to take home for dinner. I'll show you that later. We already got him cleaned up, and we'll show you when we go. Anyway, we're going to head home now, and it's pretty cool. It was a good day. Hey guys, back to the homestead, and 89 degrees, just about the same as it's been all day. Out in Alpena, it was 87 degrees all day, and we get home to 89 degrees. So our thermometer is pretty accurate for the area. And I see people are looking in Lewiston's weather. Well, again, Lewiston has a lake, which is going to change the temperature. If I drove to Lewiston right now, I'll notice a different temperature than I have here. One day I'm going to have to do that because people just don't believe me. But anyway, there it is. Pretty much the same all the way around. About 10 degrees cooler today. There, next to my hand, is a very nice, beautiful perch. We gutted him and killed him and put him in Tupperware with some ice to bring him home. And Melanie wants the head. So that is a nice fat perch. That was our catch of the day.